Hey, it's Trevor. Welcome to today's lesson. Today I want to show you how to play chords on the bass. When I was first learning chords, I didn't think that they really applied to me because I had no interest in learning how to be a solo bass player, and I didn't really want to get involved with a complicated technique like two-handed tapping. I found out that by studying chords, it helped demystify my fretboard, and it gave me a new perspective to concepts I already knew. I want to show you a few different chord patterns for major, minor, and dominant chords. And then at the end, I'm going to show you a chord progression that you can practice to help build your muscle memory. For most of these examples, I'm going to be working in C, up here on the 8th fret of the E string. Before we get too much further, I want to make sure we're all on the same page. A chord is formed from a triad. So in this case, if we're thinking of a major chord, C major, our triad is going to be the root note, which is C. I'm playing this on the 8th fret of the E string. Our major third, which is E, 7th fret of the A string, and G, 10th fret of the A string. Root third fifth is the triad of a major chord. If you're a guitar player or a piano player, you're going to play those notes in some combination at the same time, and that's going to give you your chord sound. But as a bass player, we typically play the root note, or we'll arpeggiate the chord, meaning we'll play one note from the triad at a time to create a melodic bass line. Let me show you how to play C major in a few positions. The first one I'm going to call it is root position, because we start on the root of the chord, C. I'm going to play C with my middle finger, 8th fret of the E string, my third, which is E, 7th fret of the A string, and the octave with my little finger. C major. We can also play it this way, starting on the third of the chord, E, 7th fret of the A string. Then I'm going to play the 5th with my index finger, 5th fret of the D string, and then the octave or root note C on the 5th fret of the G string. I want to call this one first inversion. First inversion because we're starting on the first note above the root, which is E. First inversion. This is root position, what we already know. First inversion. They're both C major chords, they're just played a little bit differently. The organization of the notes is different. Our final position is going to look like this. And it's called second inversion because we start on the second note from the root, which is the 5th. Playing the 5th, G, on the 10th fret of the A string. Playing the root note C, 10th fret of the D string. And then my top note is going to be E, the 3rd, 9th fret. C major in second inversion. For minor chords, we're going to be using those exact same patterns, except we're only going to be changing the third. The difference between a major chord and a minor chord is that the third is going down one half step or one fret from major to minor. Check it out. If this is our major chord in root position, C major, I'm just going to flat our third, or I'm going to move it down by half step or by one fret. Still playing my root note. Now I have my minor third, which is the 6th fret of the A string, E flat, and I still have my octave. C minor in root position. Same idea for first inversion, where I start on the third. Starting on my minor third, E flat. I still have my 5th fret of the D string, G, and then I still have my octave C on the top string. C minor in first inversion. And finally, is going to be C minor in second inversion. starting on the 5th, same position, same place, 10th fret of the A string, 10th fret of the D string for my root note C, and then my 3rd is going to be on the 8th fret of the G string. Finally, the last chord quality I want to talk about is dominant. Dominant chords are common in all types of music and in all styles, but you may commonly know them from a blues. In blues, all chords are dominant, so this might be helpful for any of those players. Here's the one position I like to use all the time. If I'm in the key of C, if I'm playing C dominant or C7, starting on C, I'll play my major 3rd, E, 7th fret of the A string, and then B flat, the flat 7. C7 or C dominant. By the way, all of these chords, all these chord positions and shapes that I just showed you, they're good for anywhere on the fretboard, not just in the key of C. You just have to maintain that shape and that relationship between each note, and you'll get the chord quality that you're looking for. Let me show you a chord progression that you can practice. If I'm in the key of C, my first chord is going to be C major, second chord is going to be A minor, third chord is going to be D minor, fourth chord is going to be G7. This is called a 1-6-2-5. It's really common in all styles of music. For C major, I'm going to play it in second inversion, starting here on the 10th fret of the A string. For that 6 minor chord, A minor, I want to play it in root position, 12th fret of the A string. D minor, I'm going to play it in second inversion, starting on the 12th fret of the A string. And lastly, G7, 10th fret of the A string. Back to C. Let me give it some rhythm so it sounds a little bit musical, but I encourage you to come up with your own way of playing this. Remember, we're just practicing muscle memory right now. 1, 2, 3. Cool. I also encourage you to move these hand positions around. So for example, instead of playing C major always in second inversion, perhaps try it in root position up here, or any other kind of combination that you can think of. Again, the name of the game is muscle memory and making sure our hands are familiar in any given position on the fretboard. I hope you found this lesson informative, and if you did, I'd really appreciate it if you gave a like on the video. I'll also be in the comments section below answering any questions you have, and until then, take it easy.